Alright, we are finally in the game. Ooh, exciting. So what we can see here is a brief of our species, of our empire, of our leader. He's expansionist and has architectural sense. Those are both nice. We'll have a look at those in a minute. We can see all of our traits and all of our details here. Same information we saw back there. I would read through this, but I'll let you do it. Let's not waste any time, because you'll see plenty of that as you play this game. Right, so the first view that we start off in is the system view. In the system view, we're seeing all of the planets, the sun, suns can be multiple suns in a multiple stars in a system. Planets and planetary bodies. You can have meteor fields, you can have all sorts of other stuff. But for gameplay reasons, none of that matters. What matters is these things that have icons underneath them. The things that have icons underneath them that can be obscured, so it's kind of tricky to look at it to see everything that you need to from here. But from about this angle, from about this range, it shouldn't hide anything from you. But as you'll see with the way these headers group together and move, it can get a bit confusing, this view. So I tend to avoid it. What I do instead is look at it from the galaxy map, but we'll focus here. What we care about in any given system is planets that are populated. What matters most is whether we've got a starbase in a system. If we have a starbase in a system, that means we have, and a starbase is different to a shipyard or a... Geez, we're going to go through this again. Right, so starbases is a term that the game uses in multiple ways, multiple annoying ways. A starbase is what you use to expand your borders, to claim star systems and expand your borders, as it says there. They cost alloys, one of our resources, and they cost influence, another one of our resources. They cost energy to upkeep. After the starbase, the next most important thing in a system is going to be any planets that we have colonized. They show up as having that icon at the back there. Oh, I should say the starbases have that icon there. Inhabited systems have that icon there. And mining and resource stations, that are the third most important thing. Resources are the third most important thing. And mining systems have that icon. Research systems have that icon. So we have systems, planets, and resource gathering is how I'd break it into 3 parts. The resources that we want to gather are either going to have a green number or a white number beneath them. Any system with a green number is already being exploited. So we're gathering 3 of this type of research, which happens to be physics, from that planet there. This planet here would give us 2 if we had a research station over it, but we don't. This planet here would give us 3 energy if it had a mining station over it. We've got energy, we've got minerals up here. We're already collecting minerals there, but we are not collecting minerals there. We are collecting minerals there, and we are generating trade from there. Those are all the resources we can show at the moment. Okay, so what haven't we seen? We've seen energy, we've seen minerals. We haven't seen food, or Yep, it is called food. We haven't seen consumer goods. We never will. You never collect consumer goods in space, or food in space. We're not collecting minerals in space. We can. They're rare. You can collect minerals. Alloys in space, but they're few and far between. We'll never collect influence. Influence is something that we generate from our population, and we'll go into that later on. Influence is it's a very important thing, maybe the most important resource. And if you remember, we chose authoritarian because it gives us a 0.5 per month bonus to our influence. Good stuff, we like it. Unity, you can gather from out in space. Unity is used to unlock traditions, and traditions are used to unlock ascension perks. We'll go into those later on. That can be its own section. Research is broken into 3 parts: physics, society, and engineering. We can see that we've got 2 physics available to be connected, or two research centers which would aid our physics research, I guess would be the in-game way of explaining it. But we get more of those points from building research facilities in areas. We can also see engineering. We will also be able to see society and research engineering locations as we explore and expand out. But in the meantime, we only see that physics one. And then we have the advanced materials, advanced resources. None of these resources can be collected at the beginning of the game, but technologies can allow you to collect them. You'll find these if they exist on the map, and you you survey an area. You can find any of these. I think any of them. Certainly any of the first 3. And Zero and Dark Matter. I think Zero and Dark Matter. Nanites and Living Metal are sort of event-driven, but you may be able to find them out in space without having research tech to do with them. I'm not sure. But we'll find out together, won't we? So those are very rare, but they can be found out in space. They can also be found on planets, but we can go into advanced resources a bit later on. The other parts of the screen along the top, Empire Sprawl. We've discussed Sprawl briefly. Population, the number of colonies, the number of systems, and the number of districts all increase your Empire Sprawl. There's technologies, traditions, leaders, edicts, campaigns, and buildings that can increase your admin capacity, and as long as the sprawl doesn't exceed your capacity, you're gonna be fine. If it does go over a little bit, the penalties are tiny, but I think if you go, I don't know whether it's multiplicative or I've got a feeling that it may be logarithmic, so that the higher you are over your admin cap, the steeper the penalty you pay. But I don't know that for sure. It's probably multiplicative. But they should make it logarithmic. That'd be kind of fun. Anyways, so I think that should make sense. The bigger you are, the more admin capacity, the more people you need to dedicate to running your empire. Makes sense, I think. Envoys, I'm gonna settle on one of those at some point, but I don't know when. Huckleberry Life is available. Good name. He is available to do our politicking. So these are basically the diplomats from Europa Universalis. That's the only game of theirs that has diplomats, I think. Is it? God, I think it might be. I don't know why they'd grab that in particular, but I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's completely non-realistic, but sure. There's only one guy who's able to talk to other species for reasons, and you're only ever going to get 2 or 3 at most. I think I've managed to stack 5 before, with techs and with mods and with But I don't know. They're very important and useful. Empire population, we've got 28 people in our empire. Clicking on there shows us, opens up one of these down the side. We'll go into those in the next video. Starbase capacity. Starbase capacity doesn't dictate the number of systems you can control. It dictates the number of star bases which your construction ships can build for 75 alloy and an amount of influence. It dictates the number of the star bases which claim systems, which you then turn into stations. So this really should be station limit as far as station capacity, as far as I'm concerned. The mixing terminology. It does explain it. So outposts, despite what your construction ships tell you. Construction ships? Construction ships. Those are construction ships, not those. So despite your construction ships calling them star bases, they're actually outposts. So maybe they should just change that wording there to say build outpost. That'd make a hell of a lot more sense. Anywho's, outposts are free. Star bases, or upgraded outposts, or stations, are not. So we can only have 3 of those. The reason we can only have 3 of those is because they do really cool things like increase the number of ships we can have with an anchorage, or increase the number of ships we can build at one time with a shipyard. They have all sorts of functions which we can go into at a later date. But starbases are important, and the number you're allowed is kept up there. If you go over those, you'll start paying through the nose, and it can ruin ruin an economy. Particularly if you've got it very finely tuned to do exactly what you want. Getting a bunch of extra starbases in a peace deal will cause trouble. And naval capacity. Naval capacity is the number of ships you're allowed, and the ship size is going to dictate the ship weight as concerns your fleet size. So you can have 20 of the base tier ships, corvettes, these boys. We can have 20 of those. In fact, we're going to do that right now. I'm holding down shift and going up to 30. We could go up to 30 if we wanted, but 20 is our cap. And so that's all we'll set it to be. If we go over with our ships, the same as with starbases, going over with your ships is going to cost a lot. Ships, I think, are more forgiving than starbases because of the number of them. But it still costs you a lot of money. Still can ruin an economy. So sticking within your starbase limit is an important thing to do. But those are the I'm losing it. What am I trying to say? Those are the things that we see along the top. Each of them has a drill down. Not all of them. Most of them have the drill down option. On any of the first 5, we're going to go into the market. We'll discuss the market separately. If we go into influence, it's going to allow us to see edicts. What you'll see is that actually all of these are buttons along the side. We're going to go through this lot separately, but all of these are mapped. So markets, edicts, traditions, research breakdown, component research breakdown, individual advanced resource breakdown, Nope, nothing for Empire Sprawl. Yep, envoys and where they are. Our species page, our genetics page. Starbase does nothing, and naval capacity does nothing. So that's the basics of a system and what all the guff along the top means. I'm going to wrap this one up here, and we'll come back. I'm going to come back immediately and explain these, but we'll talk about those next time. How are we going to turn these things along the top? I've got absolutely no idea. We'll find out when the video goes up. See you soon.